Welcome back. We've got a good story for you out of Oklahoma. It involves the Canadian County Sheriff's Office and a man that was going inside to pick up some public records requests. I'm James Madison Audits. I'm a former police officer turned civil rights activist. I got an exclusive interview with the man that was involved in this here. We're going to take a look at that in just a minute. But to summarize this, the man that you see in the video here, Trey, he went in to go get some public records. And he entered this lobby that was about 100 square feet, and he and his 14-year-old daughter were sitting in the chairs. He noticed things were starting to escalate, and he decided to move himself from the chairs over to where you can see in the video here in the corner. And that's when he heard the tone of one of the lieutenants talking to a woman here and a man that was in the lobby, and he told him, "Be nice." That is all Trey alleged that he said, and that's when the deputy turned his attention to him, and he told him not to speak. But for some reason, the audio is not included in this video that the sheriff's office provided. How convenient. But let's take a listen to the interview and let's talk to Trey. Hey, welcome, Trey. Let me start by saying thanks for coming into this interview with me. I appreciate it. If you want to tell me a little bit about what happened to you, that would be great. That's all yours.
Right, the Canadian County Sheriff's Office. I had made a records request. The sheriff's secretary called me, said, "Your stuff's ready. Come on down. It'll be at the front desk." I grabbed my daughter because there's a great, I don't know if anybody knows, El Reno, Oklahoma has great onion burgers. That's the home of the onion burger. We stopped by the sheriff's office first. We walk in there and there's a couple. It's a very small lobby, you'll see in the video. And the couple that's waiting in front of us had been there for a long time already, and we probably sat there another 10 minutes waiting. And I realized they were stalling the lady for some reason. And finally, these deputies started pouring in, and one of them had a document in his hand, and he said, "Are you Madison?" And the girl turns around, and she says, "I'm Madison." And he says, "Well, we've got a warrant for your arrest." And as soon as I realized things were going to get maybe tense, I stood my daughter up and had her, stand in the back corner. We went in the corner of the room so we'd be out of the way. And they cuffed the lady. She started protesting her innocence, saying how she had done everything right and she didn't have a warrant for, something's wrong. And I stood where I could get a good look at her because I wanted to be able to see her and see, the couple, everything that was going on. The way they were speaking to her was like she was less than human, like she was dirt. And it really started to irritate me. It burned me up. And my daughter's sitting there watching this as well. They stood her up and they started walking her out of the room, and they started chewing on her boyfriend, or I don't know if it was her husband or partner that was with her. And I just said kind of gently to the deputy closest to me, I said, "Be nice." And I'd heard my ex-wife say it to the kids a million times, and it was kind of stuck in my head, but I tried to say it more like Patrick Swayze on Roadhouse. And that's when he grabs me by my left arm and starts jamming me into the chairs and the wall. And I didn't get any kind of permanent injury. I got a nice little scuff that I could take a picture on my shoulder and show that he actually, I didn't know if I was going to get the video or not. So I didn't get my records that day, and we didn't get our onion burgers that day, but we went back and we got the onion burgers and those records and this video that you can see now of me getting roughed up. They won't charge me because if they charge me, they're going to have to show the probable cause affidavit. And from what I've heard, another deputy actually read the probable cause affidavit in front of me. He wouldn't let me look at it, but he read it. And he said, "That's not the story you're telling. It's different." So they don't want this to be shown. They can hang on to it for 3 years, and they don't want it to end up in my civil suit or anything like that. The sheriff is up for election in November here. He was at the January 6th deal, so he's already facing some trouble. I was actually friends with the sheriff. I helped him campaign in 2016, I think, when he first was elected. I knocked doors for him. And when I found out he was having an opponent this time, I'm always concerned about who's going to run, if they're going to be better, if they're going to be worse. If it's going to be a better guy, I want to vote for this guy and go for this guy. So this guy had previously been a deputy, the guy who's running against Sheriff West. And I wanted to pull all the records on him that I could and find out what kind of deputy he was, if he's a good guy or not. And after this arrest, he actually reached right out to me. So
So I was wondering if you could tell me just about the experience. How long were you in jail or how long were you arrested?
Right.
And what was it like after you were arrested?
So this happened at about 3 p.m. and they brought me back to processing and set me on this bench with other guys coming in and out from other jails or prisons or whatever, and locked me to this bench. Well, that was after a lot of people that haven't been arrested don't know the way that they strip you down and they make you squat and they look in your rectum and I mean, it's just a really humiliating experience. I think I sat there on that bench until 10 o'clock at night. And, and finally, the lady in charge of processing said, well, they're not going to bond you out tonight, so I'm going to go ahead and get you a mattress and blanket and whatever. And they put me into the big lockup area, which it's almost like a big gymnasium with bunk beds in it with 100 dudes. And I was, I've never been in jail before. I thought they were going to rough me up, but they came out, shook my hand, asked my name, and found me a place to sleep. It was pretty crazy. They were nicer to me than deputies were, that's for sure. There weren't enough bunks, so they found me a place to sleep on the floor. And I know that there are people in there that are charged with murder, rape, all kinds of things, because I can see on the list of inmates. And about almost 3 a.m., the guards came and woke me up and said my oldest son had found a bondsman to get me out.
So a
So,
12-hour stint from the time that you went to go receive your public records request to the time
right.
that you get bonded out. Now, do you have any regrets on just telling this officer or this deputy to be nice?
It's difficult to know when to stand up, but sometimes especially when you absolutely know that you're right, it, you know, there's that tree of liberty being watered kind of thing.
And so I imagine you plan on suing the department here for this because, in my opinion, this is an egregious violation of your rights based off of what I've seen and lip reading.
So I already have a couple that I've been talking to, one that I'm pretty certain that I'm going to go with. And, you know, pr- I'm going to pursue something with the Attorney General's office because I don't think that they are aware of what has happened. And we'll see. But, if people want law enforcement, if we want to still have law enforcement, then the law enforcement have to earn our respect by um, being accountable when they do things wrong, and they have to accept accountability. I would say that absent a threat, which I didn't make. I never made a threat. If I had said your mama's or what have you, nothing that I could have said should have provoked that reaction from law enforcement. They should have taken it in stride.
Well, I want to get your thoughts in the comments. In my opinion, based off of what I've seen here, this was an unlawful arrest. These deputies should have done something a little bit different on this one here, but if you tell a deputy to be nice, those are definitely not fighting words. It's freedom of speech, and it's not impeding an investigation. So leave those down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, like, and subscribing. We'll see you again soon.